We are in verdict watch as we speak in the Jerry Sandusky trial. Jurors are closing in on their first full day of deliberations. They got the case yesterday afternoon. They've been at it for 17 hours, almost 30 minutes. Sandusky, charged with sexually abusing 10 boys over 15 years, his alleged victims from his charity for at-risk youth, the Second Mile. Now, we want to get a parent's perspective, whether Sandusky's found guilty or not guilty. A lot of you are talking about how this case has prompted conversations with your kids. Maybe they play baseball, they play softball, maybe even they have sleepovers. So what do you do or say to your child to make sure they are safe around other adults? Joining me tonight, mommy blogger at SheDoesItAll.com and host of Atlanta Mom, Melanie Snare. Good to see you. And from DaddyTips.com, Brett Singer. Great to have you both on with us. And, you know, I want to start with this from both of you. What words, and Melanie, you go first, what words do you use for your child to ask them if they have been sexually abused?
I talk to my kids on a regular basis and always have. This story infuriates me. It breaks my heart, but it's prompted further discussions with my daughters. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. My 5-year-old I can definitely have those conversations with. I don't think it's ever too early. And I just ask her, you know, what went on. I talk to her about what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. I just think open communication is so key. And we always have those conversations about strangers and how strangers aren't the only people. You know, is it your teacher? Is it the person that you're spending the night with? We have those conversations. They're not easy, especially at such a young age. But I think as parents, we're responsible to be communicating with our children and to make them feel comfortable and safe to come to us with that type of thing and not feel ashamed or embarrassed or like they're going to be in trouble for it.
Okay, so not the 2-year-old, but the 5-year-old.
Right.
But you ask them if they're comfortable. You talk to them about strangers. And you have that dialogue with them. So, Brett, what words do you use? And give me a sense of how you would have that conversation. Because, you know, we have parents out there who might be watching this, and they're saying, yeah, I want to make my child comfortable, but how do I say it, especially when they're 5 or 6 years old?
I wish that there were a magic word. I mean, first of all, I wish that we didn't even have to do this. Obviously, this is a terrible thing, and regardless of the verdict, there were victims here, and I think that's important to remember. But even just saying, are you okay? I think that everything that everyone has said so far is exactly right. You just have to have an ongoing dialogue with your kids. And you also need to know them, is that there are little things that maybe they're doing something a little bit differently. Maybe they're behaving a little bit differently. Maybe they seem ashamed. That's an extremely common thing when you read about cases like this is shame, is they feel like they can't tell you. And you need to explain to your kids, and you can say, this is something very specific, is you can say to them, listen, you can tell me anything. I will always love you no matter what. And that's about as simple as it gets, I think. Okay.
All right. Now, Melanie, help me out with this. Kids go on sleepovers. They go on away trips. When I was a kid, we used to go away, coach. Sometimes, most of the time, my parents would be there, but other times they would send us with coaches. We'd go away for a couple days. What questions do you ask of the coaches or the parents or whoever it is that's in charge of these away trips to make sure your child is safe on those trips, whether it's that or whether it's just a sleepover?
You ask the questions, I think, more specifically to others that know that person. I feel like a person that's going to be guilty of this type of thing, they're going to know the right things to tell you to try to steer you clear of what they're doing. I don't think they would ever give you the signs immediately. I think there are gut instincts and you feel that. However, I think talking to everybody else and finding out how the people in the community feel about this person and, you know, asking questions of past experiences, other parents, just what's this person like? Do you feel comfortable? Have you ever felt like there was something off there? Or have you seen other kids feel a little bit different or change when they're around that person? You have to talk to your community and to the people that you already trust, the people that are the safe people in your life, and find out what they think from past experiences.
All right, and Brett, this is, I'll give you the last word here. I know a lot of parents out there have had the experience of their child's getting ready to go away. Adults are also there. They're going away on this trip, and the child shows at the last minute they don't want to go. They're reluctant. They're crying. They don't want to be there. What do you do at that point? Because I know some parents are thinking, well, we've already paid for this. I got to have my child go on this trip. And at the same time, they're having this reaction, and you might not know why. What's your advice for parents in that scenario?
You have to know your kid. We've already paid for it. I admit I'm sensitive to that. I'm a bit of a cheapskate. But the fact is that's not a good enough reason. Is you can't say, well, we paid for it, so therefore you have to go. Look for warning signs. And hopefully up to that point, if in fact there's something going on, hopefully there's something that you can see. But you have to, again, you just have to have this ongoing conversation with your kids. And then you have to find the balance of not making them paranoid. You don't want them jumping at shadows, but you do want them to be able to tell you if something's wrong.
All right, Brett, Melanie, thank you so much. Great advice from both of you.